There are a growing number of programs and initiatives communities are using to expand housing choices and affordability. Effective housing programs often require communities to develop capacity and funding to stand up and steward initiatives. Through thoughtful regional and public-private partnerships, elected officials can be instrumental in helping their communities build capacity, access gap financing, and administer strong local housing programs. How you engage programmatically in the housing continuum depends on the specific needs of your community and market. Some points of intervention include the creation and support of housing authorities, workforce housing programs, and housing stability and homelessness resolution. Affordable housing programs can improve community resiliency by stabilizing critical workforce such as teachers and first responders. Deed-restricted housing and buy-down programs have become increasingly popular tools to create and preserve housing for local workforce. In the town of Vail and Eagle County, nearly 90% of private property sales are to households located outside the community. Unlike most other deed restriction programs, Vail indeed has no income or resale caps. Instead, the permanent restriction limits resales to people who work in Vail or Eagle County.
You know, one of my visions is that we're trying to create a secondary market here. And it's not just in Vail. I think of it as more of our whole 50-mile-long market area, the whole valley. And that is the open market that anybody in the world can buy and use that property, and a restricted market that is restricted to locals. You know, the second home market, people who've made a lot of money elsewhere can't come in and displace our local population.
Local governments can also be an important partner in making workforce housing development possible. The Basalt Vista development, built by Habitat for Humanity Roaring Fork Valley, benefited from the provision of land and key infrastructure from Pitkin County and the Roaring Fork School District. In exchange, a percentage of units are reserved for their workforce housing. The development incorporates energy-efficient building practices to help keep housing truly affordable with lower utility bills. Partnerships between local governments and housing authorities are an effective way to fund and drive housing programs. Public housing authorities provide housing to our most vulnerable citizens, connect low-income workers to economic opportunities, and generate wide-reaching economic impacts. By aligning resources, local governments and housing authorities can partner to fund and steward affordable housing programs that are financially sustainable and serve a range of income levels. Stable, safe, and affordable housing is strongly correlated with positive public health outcomes. Housing stability programs such as rental assistance, legal assistance, and housing counseling can help vulnerable community members avoid homelessness, job instability, and other negative outcomes at various points in the housing continuum. The City of Fort Collins established a social sustainability department administering funds and services to assist individuals or households who are homeless, at risk of homelessness, and other vulnerable populations. Working in partnership with other organizations and the community as a whole is important to building a housing program that addresses the full spectrum of housing needs.
Stability is so important to people's health, mental health, physical health, and their ability to succeed. How can you go to school or go to work when you don't know if you're going to have a house at the end of the day? Where do you do your homework if you don't even have a house at all? So stabilizing housing really does stabilize lives, and it allows people to be their best self.
Building a housing program is possible when local governments prioritize public-private partnerships to leverage resources, capacity, and will. To dive deeper into this topic and others, visit the Colorado Division of Housing Local Officials Toolkit.